Good afternoon, everybody. Well, we're going to have a quick little painting here. I'm still trying to use up my watercolor paper that was not a good watercolor paper, and I've got watercolor grounds on this, but I was running low, so I had to add water. So we shall see if this is going to work out. And this particular segment is called Let's Go Blue. So what I'm going to do here, and what I mean by that, is the whole thing is going to, this whole little painting is going to be blues. But I've got to, I've also got to have some stems. So we're going to do the stems first. And I actually think this watercolor paper is going to work out this with the grounds. It's going to be fine. So we're just going to make some little stems, some really light ones, some even lighter ones, and this is where the practice comes in for you know, practicing the exercises. That's where this is what helps here. That was one of the exercises, making a thin one and then making a thicker type of a line. So all of that, you know, is and then using your hand one way, turning it around, and using it another way. So all of these things are practice modes. And right now, I am doing that within this painting. Okay. Not going to be very long. I'm going to try very, very hard, even though I've said this before, to make my videos no longer than 25. Maybe a little bit longer, but 25 is basically what I want to be my limit. So, oh, right, I just put my hand right in. Oh, today's one of those days, folks. Okay, so I'm going to go into the blue. And the first one will be, well, I'm just going to wing it here. I'm not going to be drawing anything. It's kind of late in the day and I don't really feel like it. So we're just going to paint some pretty petals here and see how we can see how it comes out. But each blue is going to be a little different than the other blue. So we're going to start out with one. We're going to kind of grab another color. Although that doesn't look much difference, does it? Well, anyway, we'll see where we go here. And we'll take another blue. I just fixed all my paints, so I'm not sure if I left any out. I don't think so, but here's another blue here. And then we're just gonna wing a real generic looking flower here, just for this exercise. Try not to move this table, and no matter how hard I try, it moves anyway. Okay, and then I'm gonna, yeah, something's moving it. All right, I think I'm hitting it, that's why. Now I'll probably have to, I think you're still good there. All right, so we're gonna take quite a bit of color out of there, put it into here, which is one way of changing the color, you know. But all these little flowers are going to be, these petals are going to be blue. All different kinds of blue, and that's kind of, and green, excuse me. Also the green, because we have to have the stems and so forth. And that's called monochrome. with a little exception of a few things like, you know, the, whoop, helps to get the color on there. The sepia for the center. So, you know, other than just those little things like that, we're going to be doing just the same colors and varying them up, but blues and green. Actually feeling a little under the weather this afternoon. I had spent the holiday with one of my daughters, and my granddaughter was ill. I don't know. I think I thought I was gonna miss it, and I wasn't gonna because it's been a few days. But I don't know. Today I'm fighting something, but I thought I wanted to get up and move around a little bit here. I was resting for a while, so we'll see how far I go. We'll see how far it lasts. Just feeling a little under the weather, which I hope I'm not coming down. It could be just allergies, I don't know. But all right, so this is one of the blues. And then I'm going to go into the, what I think is Peruvian blue. Pretty sure. And I actually wanted to grab the other brush, but I didn't, so that's okay. Let's see here. The tops to be a little bit on the, they don't look too different, but they are. I could have a little more I might have a little bit on the brush from the other color. Probably do. All right, so I'm going to continue with this nice Peruvian blue here. Beautiful day here, though. It turned out super nice today. Just right, you know, not too hot of a temperature and just kind of sunny. And a nice breeze, so that's always a plus. At least in my eyes. Okay, so we've got to make sure we have to take some of the other blue along with this one, and we've got to darken up the, you know, around the inside of the flower or the base of the petals. And soften that up a little bit here. Yeah, that's pretty. And we have to do another petal here. Okay, let's see. And then we just have to soften that up a little bit. I guess we'll get some gamboge for this one, along with the sepia. I get a little different blue going on here. Yeah, there we go. Just sort of pull in the direction of the flowers, something in the middle there. center darker. Sometimes when I don't feel good, I don't paint very well, so I don't know. We'll see how this goes. That's looking pretty good so far. And trying to leave my white spaces as well. Oop, a little too much water there. And we'll also do some things with the blue like this. And like I said, we'll change up the blues here and there. I mean the greens, excuse me. Now this paper's turning out okay. I'm telling you, I'm having the dangest time lately with watercolor paper. I ordered some watercolor paper. I did not notice that it was only 90-pound weight. Well, that doesn't work for crap, so I put some watercolor grounds on that, and we shall see if that is going to save it, to be able to use it. I was like, oh, for heaven's sakes. I don't know. I've just been having the roughest time with, it's really nobody's fault but mine. Just not paying attention, I guess. So anyway, we'll hope that I can salvage that. I don't know, though. It didn't work so good the first time. I'm going to have to check it. I've got a bunch of them over there that I added the grounds to on the 90 weight. 90 weight's a pretty thin paper. I don't know why that happened. But so far so good. So we have the greens, the light greens, the dark greens, the middle range greens. Let's get a little darker green going on here. And we will put this, get a nice stem coming right up like this. And we'll make a bud, a little bud. I'm gonna mix a couple of blues and make a nice little bud here. Making sure we leave some white space for the highlights. My voice will probably trail right off into the distance because when I'm tired or I don't feel well, I simply just, my voice just disappears, basically. It's funny. So I apologize if that happens. I'm trying for it not to in this short little one we're doing here. I'm trying to not let that be so. Okay, so we have that. And the other thing I want to do is I want to get some stems, but with some blue on it. Whoops, flattened out my brush here. And make a few of these little, I actually want to dip into the metallic one too, and get a little bit of metallic blue on there. And as you can see, when you first have your paint on, it's nice and pigmented. But the more you take it off your brush to paint, the lighter it gets. So we should have gone the other way, but it doesn't matter. So we have that. We're just sort of playing around here for a lazy afternoon. don't feel so good type of painting. I just was laying down. I just don't want to lay down anymore. I'm not good at that. I don't do very well at resting. I'm very guilty. Okay, so then we're just going to take a lot of dots. Just a bunch of dots, and we'll connect them after. Little kind of groups of dots. And you can make those green or blue, whichever, one you want to do. And yep, we're going to go right over the one flower we've already made, because that's okay. It's layering. All right, and then I'm going to take a little light green stem, and we're just going to, well, first we're going to just go like this, I guess, and then we'll just connect them like this, so they don't, so they don't look like they're just floating, and put something at the top, and maybe even add a few little leaves like that. So you see, we are in the monochrome, and we're in blues and greens. All right, so I'm gonna get the blue again. I guess over here, and we're just gonna, I'm actually going to wet the paper first. I'm just gonna go around like a pinwheel. Then I'm gonna come over to my metallic. And I'm going to, I don't know how well that'll work without anything else, but we'll find out. And I'm just putting in, doesn't work too good. Okay, so let's get a little other blue going on. And this is a bit of a mixture of the Peruvian blue and the other blue and the metallic blue. And we're just, yeah, so we have one going the other way as well. Yeah. I cleaned everything up on my table today. I needed to do that. It was quite a mess. So it's all cleaned up. Let's see what other blue. We're only doing blues, so I don't want to mix a few here. There we go. That's a little different. Okay. Now, another thing I can do with the blue, I just thought of it, is take some white, and I usually use most of the time, simply because I use yellow, white, a violet, and a Indian yellow yeah, if I can talk, in acrylics, because I love that mixture in with the watercolors. So that's part of some things here. I'm going to take a bit of the, I took some gold metallic, and I put it into the green. Well, I'm not seeing it too much, so let's, there we go, we got at least the tip of it. Let's add a little more in there. Might have dispersed in with the green, but yeah, it's in there. And then we'll just add that for a vine or a stem. I have a little bit of green, and what I'm going to do is I'm just flicking the side like down and sideways, and it makes these cool affected looking effects of leaves. So that's kind of cool in itself. And I'm pretty sure my video, yeah, it's getting on to where I am going to pretty much say we're done in just a couple of minutes, because what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a different green, and I am going to wet my brush a little, and I add it in here. Just kind of wing that around a little bit and make that a little more interesting. It's fun and best if you, you know, you just sort of make everything interesting. So it's not just generic, you know. I mean, it's just so much better. So again, I just will make a stem. I've got a bunch of greens and stuff. I'm even going to put in a little bit of that yellowy green. And again, flick, flatten, flick, flatten to the side, and I like the breaks, so I'm leaving it that way. It's actually quite fun doing, once in a while, doing metallic. Oh boy, I'm telling you, I'm doing well today. Doing monochrome paintings. Oh boy, yeah, this will be the only one I think for today. Another thing I get to if I'm feeling like I'm feeling a little under the weather is silly. I mean, it's the craziest thing, but I guess it's good. Some people get ugly. I get silly. I mean, really silly, and I'm feeling the silliness pretty much, so. But it's that kind of out of it feeling, you know, that you have with it. I hate that. Well, I think other than adding something here and there, because we've got different greens and different blues, so I'm sort of kind of depicting that here. Adding it here and there. And then, folks, with that, I think, I mean, there's a ton of things I could do. And you know what? I will do one other thing, because I'll use the blue, one of the blues, and it's something I love to do, which is just toss it around. I don't know, kind of reminds me of frosting or something. But we still are in the blue, the monochrome blue. So there we go. I kind of think that came out really cool. Again, this is a monochrome painting exercise, which means we're using just how many colors, but various forms of those colors. So greens and blues. And that's what we did here, and made a cute little dot nuance at the end. So I hope you like it, folks. Try it for yourself. You can do that with any color. The next one I do will probably be, if I can sort of wake up a little bit, not sure, will be a purple, varying, what do you call it, ranges of purple. And that I have quite a few different ones, because I have, actually I'll show you, I actually have a violet and purple, and then I have the acrylic one over here. And then we've got, I'm not sure whether this comes out kind of purpley red. So whether or not, and so this is another type of purplish, reddish, bluish. So I mean, those are ranges of the color. So, you know, we'll see what happens. We'll just see what happens. So have a great rest of your day, folks. Check out my other tutorials when you have a chance. And thank you so much for visiting my channel. Please come back, and bye for now.